Hello Internet, welcome to Double Issues. I'm going to be rewatching every single FNAF game theory so that we can see just how far both FNAF and theories surrounding it have evolved in the past 9 years. There's been spring traps, scrap traps, glitch traps, and burn traps. With so many games, books, and hidden messages throughout this series, it can be hard to remember all that's happened. Let me tell you, this is quite the trip down memory lane. So grab your exotic butters and fizzy fazz, put on your security badge, and let's drop in. Five Nights at Freddy's scariest monster is you. The first FNAF game theory is about the real-life murders of several people at a Chuck E. Cheese in December of 1993. Is it uncalled for to use people's real tragedies in a theory video about haunted animatronics? Yes. This is heavy subject matter put into a video about FNAF. However, it does represent it being closer to a time when game theory focused more on relating games to the real world rather than trying to solve some kind of lore and everything. This came out a couple months after Candy Crush Designed to Addict, and just after Death by Hacking, which both involve much more real-world applications in their videos. With the continuation of the FNAF and other such series, however, more and more videos would continue to focus less on real science and more on in-game secrets. Not a positive or negative, just an observation. But let's carry on to the first FNAF video with lore. FNAF 2, Gaming's Scariest Story Solved. This is the first of many, many lore videos. We've got the first twist in the constantly confusing continuity, this time discovering that FNAF 2 is a prequel sequel, and that there are two other unseen establishments that also came before the second game. While that part seems reasonable to our modern day hindsight, MatPat also claims that the purple guy uses the golden Freddy suit of all things instead of the classic golden Bonnie suit. Meanwhile, the purple guy is the phone guy, a theory from the FNAF of old to be certain. Lastly, the puppet gave the kids life after those kids' bodies were shoved into suits, giving the suits that classic job-ending odor. FNAF Mysteries Solved, Part 1.
Seriously, Scott? Oh look, here's a wall. Let me just dial in my phone number. Beep boop boop beep boop boop.
This is the first timeline revision, 3 videos in. Kicking things off, the purple guy murders his first victim at Fredbear's Family Diner, killing the kid that would become the puppet. The minigames show Freddy Fazbear's Pizza before FNAF 2. Then the employees died in the Springlock suits and become Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. Purple guy lured kids into a back room with a yellow Bonnie suit. Puppet gives them life by shoving them into the suits, and the odors cause the restaurant to shut down. FNAF 2 then occurs, and more children are murdered at the new location. FNAF Mystery Solved, Part 2, First Half. The security guards, Jeremy and Fritz, are proven innocent of the missing children's incident since they worked at the restaurant well after that had occurred. The bite of 87 took place in FNAF 2, and it closed down the restaurant. Of course, this bite was performed by Mangle though, so yeah. Perhaps a wild animatronic goose chase is in there. Jeremy was also probably the one bitten. The FNAF 1 pizzeria is also where Afton dies, and the safe rooms have been sealed away for years, and those second missing kids are not new murders, but rather just a different interpretation of the original murders. Then Fazbear Frights burns down. However, we do get to find out who the purple guy is. FNAF Mystery Solved, Part 2, Second Half. The purple guy is the phone guy. Again. This is because only he knows of the safe rooms, knows how to use the Springlock suits, and dies at the end of a phone call in-game. During FNAF 3, in the good ending, the kids' spirits move on, and in the bad ending, the kids' spirits stick around. Most confusingly of all, however, phone guy / purple guy holds out after being spring-trapped long enough to live, be discovered by the phone dude, and be released. Also, the puppet tried to burn Fazbear Frights to the ground with Purple Guy inside.
Welcome back to the super amazing end card tournament, where today I just have a simple question. Are you excited about a Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
FNAF 4 got it all wrong. This episode uses the real-life science of how the brain works. MatPat believes that the crying child has had his frontal lobe chomped off in the bite of 87. That would mean that he literally can't feel fear or have nightmares. So it is impossible that FNAF 4 could really be a dream, or more accurately, a nightmare. Or at least a scary one. Why FNAF will never end.
On everything from top 10 details you missed in the FNAF 4 teaser to top 10 facts about the cupcake. The cupcake! 10 facts about the cupcake.
FNAF 4 took place in the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and Crying Child's Chomp was the previously mentioned Springlock failure. The FNAF 4 kid is the puppet, and that puppet is also what was in the box at the end of FNAF 4. Psychic friend Fredbear is Golden Freddy, a Golden Freddy that Crying Child saw a dead child stuffed into, causing his fear of specifically the yellow suits. It's also tacked on at the end that the FNAF 4 kid could also be Golden Freddy, and the first victim then would have been the puppet. FNAF, the clue that solves Five Nights at Freddy's. is All of FNAF is a Dream, FNAF Sister Location, Decoded, FNAF 5. Ennard is either possessing the other animatronics, or he gave this group of new sci-fi animatronics life as a rebooted puppet. The Sister Location animatronics are being experimented on. This is also the first theory the MapBat says that the purple guy is William Afton. Isn't that nice to have a confirmed name for a major character? Isn't that a nice thing, crying child? Desk Guy from FNAF World is also Henry. Also, rapid-fire theories at the end include Baby being the one to say, I will put you back together. Pigtail Girl from FNAF 4 is also Crying Child's sister and possessing Baby, and getting revenge for the Crying Child's death. Follow the eyes. FNAF Sister Location. William Afton is the star of Sister Location, and he is the father of the little girl possessing Baby. The Killer's Promise. FNAF Sister Location. The computers in Sister Location show the FNAF 4 house, and also the Golden Freddy plushies. Sister Location also takes place under the FNAF 4 house. William promises to put Crying Child back together. The Sister Location animatronics have eaten up the little kitties. Here, Afton is motivated by his need to save his son and unlock for himself how to give gifts and give life. FNAF. We were wrong about the bite. Can an animatronic actually kill you? They shouldn't be able to. I thought this episode was boring as heck when it first came out, but looking back, I actually retained a lot of knowledge about the human skull from it. These animatronics were built with the ability in mind to kill. The takeaway is that William isn't sympathetic, actually. He just sucks. FNAF. The answer was right in front of us.
Page 183, you never know when a corpse may wander out of the shadows wearing a rabbit suit.
The books don't make the most sense. The games and the books are connected. Henry's the creative and William is the business guy, who also makes the murdery animatronics. The house above Sister Location is Henry's house, and also sound illusion discs exist in the games. The phantoms in FNAF 3 are sound illusion disc constructs. Also, Charlie's probably a robot. FNAF. Final theory. Part 1. Sure, MatPat, sure. Final theory. You got it, of course. Pink guy and purple guy are for sure the same person, but there are two purple guys. FNAF is the story of the Aftons. William is a killer, his no-name daughter gets scooped by Baby after ignoring William's warnings, and distinctly is not the same as Pigtail Girl from FNAF 4. Crying Child saw his sister get scooped, Ballora meanwhile is Miss Afton, and her song represents Elizabeth's death and William's response. Circus Baby's Pizza World is also a lot earlier in the timeline than first expected. FNAF, the final theory, part 2. Chica wasn't in Sister Location because she was off at Chica's Pizza World, hence she's also the last of the core 4 to join the Fazbear crew. FNAF 4 takes place in 1983 when Crying Child gets chomped and dies. He then inhabits Golden Freddy. Meanwhile, Mike is trying to remedy his father's sins. William has been killing kids before they possess the suits. Then because of this, in FNAF 2, animatronics get criminal database scanners. However, they fail and get scrapped. William dismembers animatronics, releasing kids' souls, which scare him into a golden bunny suit right for the spring locking. Mike, who looks a lot like his old man, goes to Circus Baby's Pizza Rental and gets scooped and starts decaying. He is then a literal purple guy. Mike was also in FNAF 1 and 2, and the odor was from his decomposing corpse. It's Me from Golden Freddy is from one brother talking to another. As far as the purple guy conundrum goes, Michael is the literally purple guy and William is only figuratively purple. Golden Freddy / Crying Child and the rest of the missing children got peace after Happiest Day. Mike burns down Fazbear Frights and his father, but he is unsuccessful. FNAF 6 is going to be another prequel discussing the origins of the puppet and set in the 70s. Groovy. FNAF 6, No More Secrets. Baby has been kicked out of Ennard and the rest of Ennard is now Molten Freddy. The cassette man is Henry, no last name given. The scooper from Sister Location could infuse soul energy or remnant. The fun time simulate children. Lefty was made and succeeded in capturing the puppet. Freddy dies in the FNAF 6 fire. Baby is Elizabeth. Mangle is the dog from Fruity Maze. Mangle was the dog of Chica, and William used animals to experiment with remnant on. Orange guy from Midnight Motorist is old Willie Afton, and the house is the house from FNAF 4. Michael is the person in the gray shirt watching television. FNAF 6, what was in the box? The inside of the box contains toys, a badge, a hospital wristband, and a picture of the Afton family. There were real-life visions informing Crying Child's dreams, and the Crying Child was in a coma before dying. Meanwhile, the puppet is the one who says, I will put you back together, and is trapped in FNAF World. Meanwhile, in FNAF World, the box was changed to being the box literally to being one figuratively. Box was changed again, and the pizzeria from FNAF 6 was the box. Talk about thinking outside the box when only one of those things could have ever been a literal box. FNAF stumped me. The girl from the Fruity Maze minigame is named Susie and goes on to possess Chica. Furthermore, all of the gravestones reveal the names of missing children. Then we can deduce that Puppet is Charlie from the books. The books are now valuable in solving the lore, and the survival logbook might be the most important of all. Then, after trying a billion clues to solve the logbook, MatPat puts out a call to action for another theorist to find out what a code in the logbook is trying to say. FNAF, the theory that changed everything. Mike and Golden Freddy are chatting away in the logbook. Mike was the protagonist of FNAF 4, and the bite victim, and the crying child, and the party was for him, and he was the one hanging out with psychic friend Fredbear. FNAF is no longer the Afton family, but rather just Michael Afton. Mike was the protagonist of all the games. 6 games, 1 story. Michael also might not even be his name. Midnight Motorist is still for sure about William, and Michael is the one who ran away to that place again. William is turned away from juniors because of the investigation into the missing children's incident. Michael isn't actually William's biological son, but in fact, a robot. We were right all along.
Yesterday was so amazing. I met such a wonderful guy, and I know just how to get him.
In Ultimate Custom Night, we are unable to escape from hell, and play as William Afton, being forced to contend with the sins of his past. The mediocre melodies are conduits for the one you should not have killed, and the voice behind the mediocre melodies could be Baby, but probably just the one you should not have killed, who is the vengeful spirit, who is Golden Freddy, who was not the crying child. There is no happy ending for William or Golden Freddy in this game. FNAF, the final timeline.
You were milking it more than I was. Or, I guess we're both milkmaids at the teat of Freddy Fazcow.
The missing children's incident is first in the timeline, and when Chica is lured away by Afton talking about her dog, and then 4 more kids are taken, including Cassidy, who possesses Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is also possessed at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Next, Circus Baby's Pizza World is opened, so William has a new murder den to find victims. However, day 1 of the restaurant being opened, his daughter Elizabeth gets scooped, and Circus Baby's Pizza World is immediately shut down. Those circus-themed animatronics are then hidden away underground, and a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opened with the rest of the animatronics. Meanwhile, Fredbear's Family Diner has also been opened, and Michael Afton, aka the Crying Child, gets chomped in the bite of 83. FNAF, this is the end. Michael Afton, still the Crying Child, was rebuilt as a robot by William Afton, who sent Michael down to Sister Location to reveal that Elizabeth was stuck in Baby, just like Michael is a robot himself. Michael's corpse might even be what is trapped in that box. After all, the tragedy in the other Freddy's locations, Henry built a security puppet to protect his daughter, but William still gets to her and she possesses the puppet and gives life to the other animatronics. These animatronics all hate security guards and go on to take a chomp out of Jeremy in the bite of 87. 5 more children die in the FNAF 2 location and the toy animatronics are scrapped. William realizes that he could harness souls to become immortal and his goal changes. William gets the original animatronics to the back room to figure out the secrets of their remnant, and they get turned into the Funtime animatronics. Surprisingly to William, the souls of the missing children want revenge, so they corner him into the Golden Bonnie suit. The restaurant safe room is walled off by Henry until 2023, when Fazbear Fright opens up. Henry is forever trying to finally put William down, while Michael has been on the hunt for answers. This accumulates in Henry burning down the pizzeria simulator and Michael burning down with it. Cassidy stays behind as she can't let it go as the vengeful spirit, despite Old Man Consequence's advice. FNAF 7, The Untold Story of Sister Location. This episode is all about analyzing the teasers for FNAF VR. This game takes place after FNAF 2, due to the mention of Remember Jeremy. The backgrounds look like prison bars, according to MatPat, and so a former employee went to jail in Afton's place. These lines are about 2 coworkers talking to each other. Those 2 employees were the ones seen hanged in Sister Location. In FNAF VR, we will be playing as a technician. The FNAF 7 Oopsie, Scott's problem with fan art. Steelwool accidentally used fan art in their teaser for FNAF VR, so I'll just skip over this one since it's not about the lore. Watch this, the SCP video, and the Blood and Honey video for back-to-back copyright lost lessons. FNAF, you were meant to lose.
Girls, I'm here to give you your happiest day ever. Come with me, wayward souls.
FNAF VR has just come out. Golden Freddy is missing, because they're busy with Custom Night, haunting William Afton. Also, Virtual William has been scanned into the virtual experience. Jeremy number 3 has sliced off his face. Tape Girl is the next beta tester, and she seems like she went through it. Got herself trapped in the game, and met some terrible glitch trap fate. Now you're the newest playtester, and you're also forced into a bad ending. And you're the new killer too. FNAF, the monster we missed. The books are much more canon than first suspected. Haven't we gone over this already? The shape-changing pins and sound illusion discs appear in both. Then let's get to the main point of this episode. Yellow Guy from Midnight Motorist is Henry, and Crying Child is his kid. Also, Henry's last name is Emily. The girls' room from FNAF 4 was Charlie's. Furthermore, in Midnight Motorist, William was wearing the suit outside of the Crying Child's room. Sound illusion discs are meant to scare Crying Child and keep him home. FNAF just got a reboot.
God, you're our mama bird, my friend. Puke that sweet, sweet lore down into my gullet.
FNAF World and Ultimate Custom Night are connected in their files via a trophy of a little Freddy visiting Old Man Consequences Lake. Scott Cawthon was the indie game developer hired by Fazbear Entertainment, and FNAF World and Ultimate Custom Night are both hinting at the digital world crossing into the real one. William Afton as Glitchtrap was freed into the real world at the end of FNAF VR. The old story of FNAF, the past 6 games, can all be thrown out for the lore. VR is the franchise's reboot. The number 58 on the Scott Games website hints at a sequel to Freddy in Space, also filled with lore. FNAF VR will probably have these virtual animatronics break into the real world. FNAF, the Cult of Glitchtrap. In The Curse of Dreadbear, we see masks that were probably the ones seen in FNAF 4 cutscenes. The posters on the walls were in FNAF 6. The Spookfest alleyway poster is also the very fest that the DLC is set in. There are also gravestones off the beaten path. 5 for the missing children, the 6th for Charlie the Puppet, and the 7th gravestone is Michael's, and the glitching purple one is William. There is now a Cult of Glitchtrap, and we will have to free the cultists from William's spell. One such victim dons a white rabbit mask. William can now infest people's minds, such as old Face Slice and Jeremy. There's also a teaser for a killer/probable mall cop that's named Vanny, a combo of Vanessa and Bunny, which was so spot on of a theory that it's crazy. FNAF, The Secret Crimes of 1985. The first of the Fazbear Frights books has been released, and we're going to be really digging into them here. The Crying Child, again, Michael, was put back together as a robot and wouldn't know it until he got scooped. The Funtime robots were built to capture kids and kill them, or transport them to underground facilities for Afton. And the Stitch Wraith is Ennard. Then, Ennard tried to skinsuit 5 people like they did Michael. In 1985, 6 kids were killed. The 6 dead kids at the Happiest Day minigame are these kids. Lastly, the quote new FNAF game, Into Madness, which ended up being Security Breach, would be the first ever Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. FNAF, The Faceless Puppet Master. Okay, so Scott definitely isn't the game developer from FNAF VR. It's actually Oswald from the Fazbear Fright story Into the Pit. FNAF, The Grave Robber. MapPad explains the difference between canonicity and continuity. Yawn. Children are compelled to go to Freddy's locations through some psychic connection. Freddy's is also a much more technologically advanced company than the rest of the world. Plushtrap is a voice mimic, much like the Fun Times, implying they may have some connection. There's also a heavy overarching theme of animatronics and humans combining in the Fazbear Frights books. Perhaps Henry is experimenting with how to control Remnant, or Henry is trying to work on his lifelike robots. There's also a lot of themes of invasion of the animatronic, brainwashed body snatchers. FNAF 4, The Body Snatchers.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend, Fredbear?
Psychic Friend Fredbear is a lonely Freddy doll from Fazbear Fright. It's a camera system controlled by someone else. In FNAF 4, that's probably William. And in modern day, it could be William and some of his goonies trying to run some more human and robot combo tests. Golden Freddy. Not what we thought. Delilah from 1:35 a.m. could have died in the vents of Sister Location, and she furthers the evidence that people are supernaturally compelled to come to a Freddy's. Stanley from Room for One More is a parallel to Michael from Sister Location. Then the new kid, a kid named Kelsey, gets spring-locked. Or does he? A kid named Devin sees a different dead body in the Golden Freddy suit. In FNAF 4, we can also confirm that somebody's hair was poking out of the top of Golden Freddy. Vengeful Spirit and Cassidy are separate entities, and 2 spirits could be in control of Golden Freddy. Or Cassidy has no relation to Golden Freddy. Lastly, odd slitherings are heard from old Fazbear locations. Weird. FNAF, Your Pain Fuels Us. Fazbear Frights are kind of like sequels to the original book trilogy. The endoskeleton that powers the Stitch Wraith is the same one that Henry used to kill himself. FNAF, Another Mystery Solved. Blora's connection to motherhood is emphasized by the story Dance With Me. In Step Closer, we get confirmation that the foxy mask-wearing older brother is Michael Afton. Michael is avenging his younger brother's death, and occasionally from his younger brother he'll hear, "It's me." Michael clearly forgot something that the spirit in the logbook is asking about. FNAF, We Solved Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy refuses to move on at the end of Ultimate Custom Night. William is in a coma as the vengeful spirit won't let him go. He's still alive. Golden Freddy is possessed by 2 spirits, the Crying Child and Cassidy the Vengeful Spirit. FNAF Security Breach. I know the big twist, I think. The Princess Quest minigame parallels the tapes from Help Wanted. Glitchtrap is the real William Afton, not a digital duplicate. Games inspired by the pizzeria, made by the indie developer, are the 8-bit minigames from FNAF 3. In Security Breach, we may be able to save or help Vanessa break free from Glitchtrap's control. She has been trying to fight back after all. FNAF, the new breed. The Fazbear Fanverse initiative is helping FNAF fan games get to the big leagues in an embracive and forward-thinking business structure. Did Reddit just solve FNAF? Crying child's name? Might be Evan. 3 new FNAF security breach theories. Okay, on a side note, apart from the theories, the editing in this episode is an absolute treat and really gives me a nostalgia trip, since I've been watching game theory for like 8 years at this point maybe? You know, around when MatPat said there were 2 Marios in the timeline. Ah, what a time. Very nostalgic. Anyways, back to FNAF. We're gonna be riding inside of Monty during security breach. The Glamrocks are reskin to toy animatronics. The Glamrocks also won't be attacking Gregory. Elizabeth Afton is going to be the real big bad in security breach. An army of killers coming from people infected by the glitch trap and body snatched are going to be led by Baby. Woo! FNAF, Return to the Pit. We play as Michael Afton in FNAF 1 through Pizzeria Simulator. Cassidy died in a ball pit. Detective Larson from the books is going to time travel using the ball pit, save the missing children, and or become William Afton himself in a self-fulfilling prophecy. We need to talk about FNAF. Scott is retiring after his political donations were made very public, and we get MatPat's thoughts and reaction to that. 3 new FNAF timeline theories. Chica started life as a mediocre melody. All the wooden-style animatronics were made by Henry, and William is a stepfather, and Michael is in fact Henry's son.
FNAF, goodbye, father.
Oh! I called it! Let's go! Music Man!
Baby was controlling the tentacles at the end of the Freddy and Friends teaser. Inside the FNAF 4 box was a person, and that person was Charlie. We will end up fighting Afton's kaiju trash monster self in security breach. The mall is built on top of the original Fredbear's Family Diner location. We will end up fighting Afton's kaiju trash monster self in security breach. He gets a trash power-up, and it will all be revealed to have been Baby pulling the strings. I'm sorry, why was this titled Goodbye Father? When was that relevant? FNAF, Don't Trust Gregory. Gregory is a crying child robot. Glamrock Freddy is a Michael Afton stand-in, or maybe possessed. The line is a little blurry. FNAF, The Secret Afton. Guys, no, crying child is really a robot. You gotta believe me. Anyways, Vanessa is also paralleling Elizabeth/Baby, but is for sure an Afton. They both like ice cream, flowers, and have a dad named Bill, not to mention the green eyes and blonde hair they share. FNAF, is Golden Freddy really in security breach? Glamrock Bonnie has been kicked to the curb via a glamorous gator. Now Glamrock Bonnie had been used to help recreate Burn Trap. Meanwhile, Cassidy is suspiciously the file name of the princess in Princess Quest arcade machines. At least, it's a digital recreation of Cassidy, and this is trying to bring her story full circle. FNAF, the clue that almost solves everything. The post-it note room is going to tie everything together. The post-it notes show a robot slowly coming into consciousness. This robot is Gregory, and is trying to recreate who he was by doing things like making a family dinner scene. Meanwhile, Vanessa is one of the therapy tapes people, and the other one is Gregory. Gregory has also been killing the therapist. FNAF stumped me again! MatPat suggests there is a real-life ARG, but certainly the result's gonna be that bad, just harmless fun. People surely won't blow this way out of proportion or anything. Stop the FNAF ARG hunt! Everything has gone wrong, it seems. Follow the ARG laws of courtesy and don't call private businesses, guys. Does this even count as a theory? Probably not. FNAF, the final security breach mystery solved. What's the blob, anyways? You've got a Funtime Freddy, a tearless puppet, and a non-lit baby mask. But again, there's also a mysterious endoskeleton at the bottom. Who could it be? It's Mangle. But the reason certain masks are there is because they're the latest masks, and the characters in universe as the Fazbear Company have used. Also, it's been packed with agony. FNAF, Afton's Last Stand. None of the animatronics in Security Breach are possessed, except for Glamrock Freddy by Michael. Freddy's glitch is what prevented him from being taken over by Afton. Gregory was rebuilt from staff bots. The Security Breach DLC will finally put an end to the Afton saga. The girl in the ruin poster is actually Elizabeth Afton, or at least a memory version of her exploring her father's mind. FNAF, Golden Freddy never existed. Illusion discs are canon. FNAFs 1 through 4 were created by an unreliable narrator, a game designer being gaslit by Fazbear Entertainment. Crying Child doesn't exist, the missing children incident may not have happened, and Golden Freddy doesn't exist. FNAF, you're going to hate this. Fazbear Entertainment Inc. was restarted as the new Fazbear Entertainment LLC, so now we have to discover who is running this new Fazbear, and that person is Elizabeth Afton. Meanwhile, Fanny and Vanessa are 2 different people, and they are twins. Let me just say, as a twin, I hate the twin theory. The title was correct. There are different versions of robots built of Elizabeth Afton at different stages of her life, including Baby, Ruin Girl, Vanny, and Vanessa. The owner of Fazbear is an older version of Elizabeth. FNAF, The Origins of Evil. The mediocre melodies were made by Henry before he started working with William. William went into debt, merged with Henry's company, and Chica came to join the cast of William's characters. The mediocre melodies were around the restaurant at the time of the missing children's incident. FNAF, The Ultimate Timeline. In the 1930s. Anyway, Fredbear's singing show inspired a young William Afton to create costumes of Fredbear and Bonnie. Henry's Chica's Party World knocked his place off. William's business went into bankruptcy and Henry bailed him out. William wasn't happy with this, but at least in 1979, they saw a great deal of success in Fredbear's Family Diner, which they had co-founded. They even got a spin-off cartoon show and sister location in 1983, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. William and Henry both had their own families and life was good. Afton soon fell in love with robotics to improve his own creations, bring them to life so to speak, and finally besting Henry. FNAF, The Rise of Afton. By 1983, Fredbear's Family Diner and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza were both running, and Henry and William together created the Springlock suits. This meant William didn't have a lot of free time, so he installed a lot of cameras to watch over his kids. The Crying Child's party and subsequent death occur. William promises to bring him back, and Crying Child is buried in a mysterious lump of dirt. His wife just stays home and watches TV. Michael would break out of his room to see his brother's grave. William visits the bar juniors all the time. This drinking led him to killing Charlie and driving home. Fredbear's Family Diner shut down, and the extra characters from there were put into storage at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. William continued his robotics work, even surpassing Henry and starting William Robotics. He created a workshop under his house to work on his robots. William torments Michael with nightmare animatronics, and Miss Afton leaves the family. William lures people to the back with his golden Bonnie costume and stuffs them into the animatronic suits. William was charged but never convicted. Henry developed the toy animatronics to prevent more tragedies from happening. William became a security guard, went back into the golden Bonnie suit, and killed 5 more kids. William realized that there's some kind of supernatural spice going on, and so created Circus Baby's Pizza World and animatronics to specifically capture children. Henry failed to reopen the business as William disassembled the animatronics. He melted the endoskeletons down and injected them into his own new Funtime animatronics. On his last visit, the ghost previously trapped in the animatronics forced him into his old golden Bonnie suit and was found by a security guard a few days later. When Henry finds out, William is sealed away in the back rooms. FNAF, Burn Them All. Michael realized William wasn't coming back and found his father's secret bunker. This location was Circus Baby Entertainment and Rentals. Michael realized his sister was trapped in Baby and his father had been killing people with these animatronics. Michael realizes his father is trying to replace his family with robot duplicates. Then he gets scooped and taken over by Ennard for months. Eventually, Ennard leaves, but Michael lived on and vowed to right his father's wrongs. Michael applied for various security guard positions at Freddy's locations looking for clues about his father, and burned the various Freddy's locales to the ground, freeing the remnant. Michael reunited with William at Fazbear Frights. He burned that place to the ground as well. Unfortunately, William survived. Henry created a new restaurant to lure all of the animatronics back to free the souls within. Everyone burned. However, Cassidy won't let William die, and will force him to live and suffer. William's consciousness went into a circuit board. A family rebuilt. Fazbear Entertainment was dissolved, and everyone involved was dead. Everyone, that is, except for Mrs. Afton. She inherited all the copyrights and the trademarks were now passed to her. Miss Afton would use this to rebuild her family. She reformed Fazbear Entertainment into an LLC, gathered remnant, created an animatronic delivery service, and created a cover-up for all the previous deaths from the company. She designed the Pizzaplex and began her true work. She started rebuilding Crying Child as a robot, as Gregory, in the Post-it note room. Then Miss Afton moved on to William. She threw him into a life support pod and put his digital consciousness into VR, and spread his consciousness in a hope to take over a new body. Jeremy had failed at being a suitable host. Vanessa, the new Elizabeth, would be taken over by Glitchtrap and watched over by Gregory. Vanessa was brought over to be a security guard at the Pizzaplex, much like William and Michael before her. Miss Afton discovered Michael was already possessing Glamrock Freddy, and she thought she'd won. Charlie, however, had possessed the Pizzaplex, and would never want the Aftons to be happy. Gregory, however, wasn't content with his life, and is acting out more and more. FNAF, I Solved Ruin. This episode is all about how the books mirror the games. Tales from the Pizzaplex edition. GGY from the books is like Gregory from the games. Edwin is Henry. Davis is like Charlie. Mimic is also kind of like Robot Charlie. This goes on to show that Henry was the one to have to sell to William, and not the other way around. An angry Charlie in the games is technologically possessing the Pizzaplex, and Henry is the one who made the secret code for Gregory to follow. Henry built Gregory, aka Patient 46, and he is supposed to be a defender of the Pizzaplex, who unfortunately became a minion of Afton. Lastly, the Ruin DLC is going to be a battle between Charlie and Willie Afton, who are fighting for control over the Pizzaplex and Gregory. FNAF FNAF, the AI Uprising. The new villain of FNAF is AI and has been building up as such since Help Wanted and Glitch Trap. It's the Mimic. Mimic Sweep! The FNAF world map is actually a representation of the human brain in order to program AI. The AI, however, took that code with all the child murder and decided to go on their own murder spree this time. The Endos in the basement are being trained by Vanny to be new hench robots for the Afton cause. Crispy Trap may have the body of Afton, but they have the mind of an AI. Tiger Rock from the books and its two colored eyes represent Charlie and Elizabeth. The Blob is everything else, all the loose data, and also the Mimic too. FNAF, buried and forgotten. Now that Ruin is out, well, I mean technically Ruin was also out before the last video, but this was the first video written after Ruin came out. But before we get to the DLC, we need to know how Security Breach ended. Princess Quest was the canon ending. The Vanny mask left behind at the end of this ending is the same as the one Cassie wears, and Freddy is the same Freddy. At least the same body as from Security Breach. Glitch Trap's control over the AI is represented by the purple line surrounding everything in the Vanny mask. Meanwhile, the green surrounding Roxy and the daycare attendant are being influenced by Charlie. Under the Pizzaplex, the Mimic's costumes are the same costumes referenced in FNAF 3. These costumes are also from Circus Babies. The Mimic has been around for a while now in the timeline, and also mirrors entered. William created the fun times by stealing Henry's Mimic software, and Tiger Rock is still a combo of Elizabeth and Charlie. FNAF, Bonnie's Haunted Past, Security Breach Ruin. Eclipse and the Mimic share a connection, and Eclipse was one of, if not, the first animatronic. Cassie's dad was a Fazbear technician for Circus Babies Pizza and Rentals, and will be the protagonist of Help Wanted 2, but currently he has vanished. Also, he was the bite of 83 kid in the Bonnie mask. The Ruin collectibles represent a Fazbear franchise timeline. Jesters have been a part of the Fazbear franchise for a long time. The fun times are run on the Mimic program. Afton made the Mixies program. And that's all the FNAF game theories up to this point. At the time of writing, we've still got Help Wanted 2 and the movie yet to come out this year, and as always, books are coming out, so I'm sure there will be plenty of more conspiracies surrounding robots, children, and robot children to complain about and or praise. Personally, I'm excited to find out who Cassie's dad is, and what the deal is with that carnival. But hey, those are just some theories. Some game theories. Thanks for watching.
Not every story has to be about something, Orville. Sometimes a person just wants to talk. Why does everything have to be a story? I said to him.